Well, good morning. Welcome to another tip for the ride. My name is Alice Trindle, and helping me out today is my Hispano-Arab Savio. He's about a 7 or 8 year old gelding, and if you're unfamiliar with the term Hispano-Arab, that means his dad was an Andalusian, his mom was an Arab, and he's just coming along beautifully. I thought I'd share something with you today that we use quite a little bit in our clinics here in Eastern Oregon, and working on developing people's seat, the proper use of their legs and their hands, and really learning how to ride, getting out of the way of the horse and not relying on the reins as the primary balancing aid, and really developing that kind of partnership with their horse that is the same kind that we might have if we were on the ground at total liberty with no strings attached. Could I learn to ride up here and communicate with my horse with that same kind of finesse so that I could make a promise to him that I'd never pull on him, that if we were together we'd be in that effortless kind of communication. One of the aids that we used, artificial aids, to help with that is riding in a halter. Now, to begin with, this is a horseman's halter. You'll notice here that there are no metal pieces on it. The lead rope is made out of a yacht braid cord that is probably about less than a half-inch thick. 3/8 I think is what it actually is. And then a fairly thin yacht braid on the halter as well. They're hand-tied, and the ones that I like the best actually have an additional couple of rose knots on the nose, more than what we have here on the halter today on Savio. The goals that we're going to be looking at here today, as I mentioned, are really to develop this kind of communication and to stay out of the way of the horse. But it also helps us to develop some rhythm and timing, and to be able to use our multitasking. Separate our requests that we're doing here with our hands, even with our focus somewhat, separate that from what our seat and our legs are doing. So let's get started on a little bit of riding with the halter. As with most of our exercises with our horses, there are quite a little bit more depth that we could go into with simple things that may seem like they don't mean very much to us, but they mean a lot to the horse, and they mean a lot to the kind of communication that we're sort of developing. Anytime that I send energy down that rein, down that rope, I'm transmitting that energy right to the horse. And I need to be very mindful that it is not mindless. So to begin with that, we're going to just start with a way to be able to feed your lead rope out and do a nice toss from one side to the other, a little kink in the rope to be able to bring it back into a nice comfortable place for both the horse and the rider, and then how we might be able to ask a little bit more with that, with our focus, and have the rein just be there to help finesse that just a little bit. So let's start right here by just feeding I'm going to do all this at a standstill to begin with, but of course much more important that we work on it dynamically with movement, but it'll be easier to see here at a standstill if Savio will continue to cooperate for me here a little bit, and I don't send him some mixed messages as well. First thing I'll do is I'm going to feed this lead rope out, so I have quite a bit of slack. Now, this is a really critical part that I notice with folks an awful lot, is that if I want to throw this to the other side, I want to use the hand that's on the same side as this long slack in the rope is. It's not about reaching over with my other hand and tossing it this way, because then again that would be sending a lot of mixed signals down through my body. I want to keep my hips, my seat bones, and for the most part my shoulders right here in line with his main line, and my belly button energy coming right out through his ears. So I want to feed that slack out and prepare to toss it with a nice underhand toss in the same hand on the same side that the slack is. What do I do with this tail? Well, I just put it over here in my other hand with my over the top of my thumb and just a little grip around with my knuckles going up to the ceiling, to the sky. As with everything, I'm going to go through my horseman's protocol. Take my deep breath, make sure that I'm here and present. See that picture in my mind's eye of this lead rope flipping out over his ears, missing his ears by a long shot, and then I'll go on to the next part of my journey. Deep breath, see that picture, smile on my face, relax down in core area, a little engaged, not just my belly button just hanging out. I want to have a bit of tension here in my core area. Start low, and I'm going to toss this to an imaginary point as if I were tossing a softball quite high out in front of me. I don't think about tossing it over his ears, rather just tossing to that point that's out in front. Start low, toss high, and let go. Now, it was pretty important that I had this lead rope on the tail of the lead rope on this other hand. Now watch this next series. I'm going to go ahead and turn around here so that you can see it just a little bit better and see how that works out. I'll run through it once where you're kind of hidden, and then I'll run through it again where you can see it easily. With the hand that I just threw with, I'm going to reach over and find my tail or my long lead rope. I'll draw that up through as if I had an OK sign. I put it in that OK sign and draw that up through. I'll lay that kinked part over the neck. Reach down now with the same hand that I tossed with. Find my double reins. 2 reins in that hand. Make my OK sign now in this hand. Run down the lead. Find good posture, and I'll go ahead and write him off here so that you can see that again. So this is a run through again. I'll go back on this other side so that you can see the whole sequence. Tail in my hand. Just a second here, Savio. Thank you. Great, good boy. Tail of my lead rope in the hand, that is where the rope is going to go to. Nice long slack here in the other side. Start low, toss high. Reach over with an OK sign. Put that long rope in my hand. Draw that through the OK. At that point, I've let go of the tail. I'm going to reach down and find both reins and lay those over. Now switch hands. The hand that did the original tossing comes back, finds the double reins. The hand that I was tossing to goes into the OK sign. I place my rein in that, and I'm ready to ride off. Over the top of the thumb and between the little finger and the ring finger. Over the top, between the ring finger and the little finger. So as I just put a slight little squeeze on, I'm sending energy down to the horse. Nice. Let's watch it one more time on this side, and then we'll see it a couple of times with movement. I'm preparing here to throw to the other side. I want to feed the tail on one side, the side I'm going to. Feed out the slack on this side here that I'm going to toss with. Underhand toss. Toss high. No movement in my shoulders. Deep breath. See the picture. Start low. Toss high. Reach over with that hand I just tossed with. Find that long rope. Draw it through. Drop the tail. Doubles. Lay that kink over the neck. Exchange hands. Find my single rein, see a picture, and ride off. Now let's see how that looks with a little bit of movement. being able to ride along and toss my lead rope effortlessly, develop a little contact, and do some nice maneuvers, just riding with one rein. So let's see, I'll prepare my body here, see if we can ride Savio off here a little towards you. First step, feed that slack out, put the tail of my lead rope in the hand on the direction to which I'm going to toss. Start low, toss high, make a kink. Step 2, find those doubles with the hand that I was tossing to. Lay the kink over the neck. Step 4, exchange hands between the hand that I tossed to and the one that it came from. Find those doubles. Step 5, find my OK sign and put the single rein in that. Now I bet I could effortlessly change direction just by looking where I'd like to go, and my body is all prepared. My hands are in a nice balanced position. Let's run it through it again this way. Feed the slack, tail in the outside hand, the one direction I'm going to go to. Toss, kink, find the double with one hand, lay the kink across, double, single, change direction, and off we go. Now, some of the main advantages that I find in this is that people start to have to be able to separate their body language and their body parts so that they're not falling into some of the pitfalls that are very easy for us when we try to manipulate our horses with our reins. One of the big pitfalls that I see is that as people try this, they come out here and try to toss it over. That really changes the message that you're sending in your seat. Next, I find that people have a hard time being able to keep their horse still a little bit wrapped around their inside leg. Here again with the single rope, there's a real easy trick to be able to help with that. And that is, one, good posture, and see that picture that he could lift those shoulders up a bit and go a bit sideways. Now with my single rein here, I'm going to just lift up a bit and put my leg on, and there he goes effortlessly sideways, keeping his attention a little bit more around my inside leg. Watch that here one more time as I ride away from you so that you can see that how the sideways comes in so easily. Bring my hip and shoulder up and back. Lift that hand towards his outside ear, and he nicely does a little bit of sideways and finds good balance. Now, here's some challenges for you. Could you do this at a walk, at a trot? Could you do this so that you could ask your horse to effortlessly move sideways? Could you do this and ask your horse to come into a little more self-carriage? Is there an opportunity here to be able to really work on some flexing with your horse, where he'd be nice and light in that bridle? And overall, can you get so that you're not influencing with your seat what you're asking of with your hands, so that things become light and soft and effortless, and the horse finds ways to be able to move without the pull on the reins whatsoever. Here's your back up, lifting straight up, lightening in my core area up, internally light, and allowing my seat bones to come up off of his back, not completely, but just up, and my pelvis to become more vertical, and my hand is just there to accompany this. There's no pull to it whatsoever. If he doesn't go backwards, I could give it a little bit of a bump. He says, I think I'm a little confused what you want here, so I'll ride him a little forward. The halt and a little back up, and step that foot over there. Very good. So, quick review on the use of the lead rope. Riding with one rein. Give it a try. It may have been a long time since you've ridden your horse in a halter. Might have been in that colt starting class that you took 5 years ago when you were first starting that particular horse. Go back and reacquaint yourself with all the advantages that come to the confidence that you build in yourself and the confidence you build in your horse just by riding with one rein. Until I see you again, I hope you enjoy these tips for the ride, and come out and see us here in Eastern Oregon.